And here we are. Here we are once again. Welcome one and welcome all to the one, the only Junk Shop Library channel, home of entirely too many things, but today of improv Bible study. The Atheist Bible study, where we read every last excruciating word of the King James Version of 1611, because that's the one in the public domain, and then rip at the new asshole at this misogynistic, outdated pile of ridiculous nonsense so desperately deserves. That sounds appealing to you. Stick around, hit that thumbs up. Engage with our lovely folks in the chat. One thing that I should caution you about before we launch in, much like the source material, this Bible study is absolutely not for children. It's a bad book. We say bad words. Junk Shop tells it like it is. All right, well, with ass sufficiently covered, y'all know what time it is. We got to thank the patrons. These are the folks who put us on the air and who keep us on the map. The folks who have reached out through Patreon and contributed both their moral support and their monetary input to the channel. We literally couldn't be doing what we're doing here in the library without them, and we thank you one and all so very much. And we thank you in alphabetical order, as you see scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Atheist Pastor, Aunt Jur, B, Bill, Brainbug, Mark Caesar, Paul Camish, Gary, Ilya Moon, Kim, the Lavender Lady, Linda, the Lone Wanderer, Mama Atheist, Nikki, Ox, Rain, Robert X, and Santi. Thank y'all once again. The chat is moving. I love it. All right. Let's see who's joined us since I clicked over into the depths of StreamYard. Microraptor, hello. Good to see you as always. One, but not the only person on YouTube. Amiga Nuts, the person of links above all. Fantastic. All righty. Well, thank you all so much for joining me here today. We finally got through Proverbs last time we gathered together. When the heck was that? Was that Friday? That was Friday. It was only 3 days ago. It only feels like 3 years ago. Time has no longer any meaning, as we all know. What that means today is that we turn to the book of Ecclesiastes. Now, I warned the folks on social media earlier today, and I'm going to warn y'all here right now. I have no memory and no knowledge of the book of Ecclesiastes beyond the fact that it's the book of the Bible that a time to do this and a time to do that, a time to hug and a time to kiss, a time to tear down and a time to build up, a time to sow and a time to reap, all that mess comes from. The rest of Ecclesiastes, clueless. No idea. And no, Ox, there's not going to be a recap. You can go back and watch the old streams. No. I'm done with Proverbs. I don't care if I never see another proverb as long as I live. Let me think. Is there any other announcements I should make before we launch into the Ecclesiastes today? We've got the 250 subscriber celebration stream coming up toward the end of next month, the last Sunday before Christmas, the 4th Sunday of Advent. My back-ordered Jesus came in the mail today. Wow, that's some glare on that box. Check it out. 1,000 pieces. 1,000 pieces. It's going to be a fun time, y'all. Make sure you set your notifications on and tune back in. We're back on the regular schedule this week. We'll do improv Bible study Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We'll do mental health Thursday, unsurprisingly, on Thursday. And we should be back on the regular Patreon content for the patrons over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Tuesday is the only day we take off here in the library. We stream so much, it's a wonder y'all ain't tired of me. Oh, yes, thank you, Linda, for dropping that in the chat. Our a dear friend of the community and of the channel, Ilya Moon, is having a little fun with things medical right now. So anybody who can pitch in to that that fundraising effort would be appreciated. I just closed my Bible without putting my bookmark in. There we go. Thankfully, we've spent so long in Proverbs that the spine's broken to it, so all I have to do is flip it open. All right, let's see what we got going on here. I'm curious. Curious am I. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1. The words of the preacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem. Hey, Mark Caesar, good to have you. Vanity of vanities, saith the preacher, vanity of vanities, all is vanity. What profit hath the man of all his labor which he taketh under the sun? One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever. The sun also ariseth, and the sun goeth down, and hasteth to his place where he arose. The wind goeth toward the south, and turneth about unto the north. It whirleth about continually, and the wind returneth again according to his circuits. All the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. Unto the place from whence the rivers come, thither they return again. All things are full of labor, man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It hath been already of old time, which was before us. There is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. I, the preacher, was king over Israel in Jerusalem, and I gave my heart to seek and search out by wisdom concerning all things that are done under heaven. This sore travail hath God given to the sons of man to be exercised therewith. I have seen all the works that are done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity and vexation of spirit. That which is crooked cannot be made straight, and that which is wanting cannot be numbered. I communed with mine own heart, saying, Lo, I am come to great estate, and have gotten more wisdom than all they that have been before me in Jerusalem. Yea, my heart had great experience of wisdom and knowledge. And I gave my heart to know wisdom, and to know madness and folly. I perceived that this also is vexation of spirit. For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. All righty. Well, that's chapter 1 of Ecclesiastes. Hey, little wolf, good to see you. Well, that was a bit of a downer, wasn't it? Wasn't as rat-fuck boring as Proverbs by any stretch of the imagination. That was actually quite poetic. But my goodness, that was a downer and no mistake. I didn't realize, I'll be honest, I did not realize that there is nothing new under the sun was of biblical antecedent. I thought it was just a maxim. I didn't realize it was a Bible verse, let alone that it was from Ecclesiastes. Hey, Spatula, good to see you. Mark Caesar says, of course it's a bit of a downer. It's the Bible. Lavender Lady, whose favorite book I am assured this is, says it's rather zen, though. True. There's nothing new under the sun. And there was a book, or I don't know, fucking episode of Millennium or something like that, that used as its epigraph that verse 17, and I gave my heart to know wisdom and to know madness and folly. I perceived that this also is vexation of spirit. That's just a great little verse right there. That's just a great little piece of, I mean, give the devil its due. When there's poetry in this, it's good-ass poetry. It really is. Just kind of sauntering along, introducing the book, saying that we're gonna know the wisdom of the son of David, which I assume is more of a metaphorical or lineage-related phrase, because y'all know if this book had been written by Solomon, he would have Solomoned all over that first chapter. I am Solomon, the wise, the son of David, king in Israel. You know, we saw him doing that all over Proverbs. So, whoops, damn, falling apart. I don't know if this is going to last through the end of Revelation, y'all. I may have to buy me a new Bible. Let's see. Gets a little pompous there, around about verse 16, 14, and 16. I have seen everything. I've been everywhere. I've done everything. There is nothing that is hidden from me. But remembers in verse 18, he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow, which is true. The more you know, the more crap that you know. Little Wolf, I never have any idea what's going on. Duct tape, says in the chat. For no readily discernible reason, just boop. Ah. Chat moves fast. Oh, thank you, Ox. Can I see Paul in the bath? No. No, I cannot. Jesus Wizard Spatula says, I've seen bloody angel swords. Oh, to fix my book. Okay, that'd be worth a shot, actually. Can't exactly hurt, now can it? Look at this poor thing. Meh. We spent a long time in Job. It ripped right out of the spine. Pardon me. I've been everywhere, man. Yes, that's Linda. That's exactly what I was thinking. It's exactly what I was thinking. We're communicating. All right. Chapter 2. Chapter 2. Oh, I see everything. You was worried. Okay, I got you. All right. Let's see what we got in chapter 2. I said in mine heart, go to now. I will provide thee with mirth. Therefore enjoy pleasure. And behold, this also is vanity. I said of laughter, it is mad. And of mirth, what doeth it? I sought in mine heart to give myself unto wine, yet acquainting mine heart with wisdom, and to lay hold on folly, till I might see what was that good for the sons of men, which they should do under the heaven all the days of their life. I made me great works, I builded me houses, I planted me vineyards. I made me gardens and orchards, and I planted trees in them of all kinds of fruits. I made me pools of water, to water therewith the wood that bringeth forth trees. I got me servants and maidens, and had servants born in my house. Also I had great possessions of great and small cattle, above all that were in Jerusalem before me. I gathered me also silver and gold, and the peculiar treasure of kings and of the provinces. I gat me men singers and women singers, and the delights of the sons of men, as musical instruments, and that of all sorts. So I was great, and increased more than all that were before me in Jerusalem. Also my wisdom remained with me. And whatsoever mine eyes desired, I kept not from them. I withheld not my heart from any joy, for my heart rejoiced in all my labor, and this was my portion of all my labor. Then I looked on all the works that my hands had wrought, and on the labor that I had labored to do, and behold, all was vanity and vexation of spirit, and there was no profit under the sun. And I turned myself to behold wisdom, and madness, and folly. For what can the man do that cometh after the king, even that which hath already been done? Then I saw that wisdom excelleth folly, as far as light excelleth darkness. The wise man's eyes are in his head, but the fool walketh in darkness. And I myself perceived also that one event happeneth to them all. And I said in my heart, as it happeneth to the fool, so it happeneth even to me. And why was I then more wise? Then I said in my heart, that this also is vanity. For there is no remembrance of the wise more than of the fool forever, seeing that which now is in the days to come shall all be forgotten. And how dieth the wise man? As the fool. Therefore I hated life, because the work that is wrought under the sun is grievous unto me, for all is vanity and vexation of spirit. Yea, I hated all my labor which I had taken under the sun, because I should leave it unto the man that shall be after me. And who knoweth whether he shall be a wise man or a fool? Yet shall he have rule over all my labor wherein I have labored, and wherein I have shewed myself wise under the sun. This also is vanity. Therefore I went about to cause my heart to despair of all the labor which I took under the sun. For there is a man whose labor is in wisdom, and in knowledge, and in equity. Yet to a man that hath not labored therein shall he leave it for his portion. This also is vanity, and a great evil. For what hath man of all his labor, and of the vexation of his heart, wherein he hath labored under the sun? For all his days are sorrows, and his travail grief. Yea, his heart taketh not rest in the night. This also is vanity. There is nothing better for a man than that he should eat and drink, and that he should make his soul enjoy good in his labor. This also I saw, that it was from the hand of God. For who can eat, or who else can hasten hereunto more than I? For God giveth to a man that is good in his sight wisdom, and knowledge and joy. But to the sinner he giveth travail to gather and to heap up, that he may give to him that is good before God. This also is vanity and vexation of spirit. All right. Well, took kind of a hard turn there at the end. Let's see. So, well, I mean, we started out with him essentially talking about how much shit he's got. He's real rich. I saw somebody say in the chat, never again. Yeah, he was a rich guy. We got it. Was I just checking on the chat? See if I missed any questions. I think I caught up. And so he got rich and got all the stuff and he did all the things, and then he got all poopty-headed about it because he realized that he was going to have to leave it to somebody when he died, and he wasn't going to be able to do anything about that. Very existential crisis kind of book, isn't it? This Ecclesiastes so far. All is vanity. Everything sucks. Everybody dies. You can't take it with you. And then right there at the end, verses 24 through 26, more of this damn Bible philosophy about how if you're in wretched, miserable shape, it's God giving you your just desserts. Which is more of the same bad, toxic doctrine we've been complaining about for almost 2 fucking years now, since we cracked this shit open, peeled off the wrapper, and read the words, "In the beginning." There's a lot of it in here, and people take this book so damn serious. And that's my issue with it. Some of y'all are a little new to the channel, so I don't feel bad about reiterating this. My main issue with this book is that people take it so seriously and so literally and swear that this is a good book and that following its teachings is a good idea. And they're just wrong. It's not a good book. It's badly edited. It's not annotated in the slightest. It's a shitty anthology of misogynistic, misanthropic, outdated crap, war crimes and outdated regulations, utter madness and abuse. It's just not a good book. And this thing that we have culturally, so many of us, that it should be, and I'm sort of speaking in broad strokes here, but this cultural idea that this thing should be revered and that you can't make mock of it. And that following its teachings, or at least saying out loud that you follow its teachings, automatically makes you a better person than godless heathens like me. And it's just not. It's got some nice poetry in it. It's got some fun stories. I'm partial to Balaam and the talking ass myself. Get back in the road. But it's just not good. And that doctrine there at the end of chapter 2, God giveth to a man that is good in his sight, wisdom and knowledge and joy. But to the sinner he giveth travail to gather and to heap up. See, you see how dangerous and how toxic that idea is. That if bad things come your way, it's because you've fallen afoul of the Almighty. You done fucked up, kiddo. It's all your fault. That or it was predestined from the foundations of the earth. And depending on what part of the ridiculous anthology you read, sometimes it's one and sometimes the other. It's just, yeah. But yeah, Paul points out it's a good book because the good book says it's good. Exactly. Go away, notifications. You're blocking my chat. Well, finally got a good rant out of something. I didn't hardly rant at all during Proverbs except about how bored I was, did I? Little Wolf wants what he was on. See the talking snake. Yeah, apparently some of us were preordained to be godless heathens, it seems. Welcome to your eternal destiny. Scary shit, ain't it? JWS says, like I said, I was an Eighth-day independent fundamental Baptist. My God, learned the hard way. Glad you got out of that mess. Good Lord. That is... Woo! Here's to you. All right. Oh, we hadn't even gone half an hour yet. We got time for another chapter or two. We'll roll on into chapter 3 then. And we're about to get some of us about to get some songs stuck in our head, you know. Chapter 3. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to get and a time to lose. A time to keep and a time to cast away. A time to rend and a time to sow. A time to keep silence and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time of war and a time of peace. What profit hath he that worketh in that wherein he laboureth? I have seen the travail which God hath given to the sons of men to be exercised in it. He hath made everything beautiful in his time. Also he hath set the world in their heart, so that no man can find out the work that God maketh from the beginning to the end. I know that there is no good in them, but for a man to rejoice and to do good in his life. And also that every man should eat and drink and enjoy the good of all his labor. It is the gift of God. I know that whatsoever God doeth, it shall be forever. Nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken from it. And God doeth it which men should fear before him. That which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been, and God requireth that which is past. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. I said in mine heart, God shall judge the righteous and the wicked, for there is a time there for every purpose and for every work. I said in mine heart concerning the estate of the sons of men, that God might manifest them, and that they might see that they themselves are beasts. For that which befalleth the sons of men befalleth beasts, even one thing befalleth them. As the one dieth, so dieth the other. Yea, they have all one breath, so that a man hath no preeminence above a beast, for all is vanity. All go unto one place, all are of the dust, and all turn to dust again. Who knoweth the spirit of man that goeth upward, and the spirit of the beast that goeth downward to the earth? Wherefore I perceive that there is nothing better than that a man should rejoice in his own works, for that is his portion. For who should bring him to see what shall be after him? And there we have chapter 3. A time for eating all the chocolate. Yes. Well, I'm not 100% not on board. I kind of agree with the gist of it, if not necessarily with every bullet point in every verse, but there's a time and a place for everything. I mean, not everything, obviously. There's things that there's no time nor place for, and we're not going to get into examples right now. Good God. I see y'all coming after me now. Junk Shop said there's a time and a place for everything, and here's an example. But yeah, time and place. Everything has its... I'm going to qualify myself out of existence here in a second. Time and place. And enjoy what you got while you got it. Because you ain't coming back after you choke. Lavender Lady points out, yes, I love the part about men and beasts are but the same. Yes, that which befalleth man befalleth beast as well. Everybody gonna die. Eventually. Eventually. Hopefully not soon. And Knox points out, aren't the parts of that book that do make sense just common knowledge? Yes, but they're so nicely put. That common... Y'all hear that? Common knowledge-y parts of it. At least we did... I mean, I'm serious. We did finally get some actual poetry in the poetry places. Linda wants to be a zombie. No, you don't. Brains is a terribly, terribly boring diet if you're straight up on it all the time. You'd get tired of it. That's gonna drive me out my fucking mind. I'll go ahead and tell y'all what that is, just so that I can acknowledge it in my own head and maybe move on with my life. They're painting the exterior of the buildings. In order to make sure they don't spray paint or get backspatter on the cars in the parking lot, they've wrapped all the cars in plastic. It apparently didn't occur to them while they were doing that some cars have contact alarms. So there's one car out there in that parking lot that's been intermittently going off on its alarm all the blessed live long day. And this is the second day it's done that. Old Junk Shop gonna lose what mind Junk Shop got left. Paul says, I'm not going to die. It's never happened before, so why should I believe it's going to happen at all? Well, it's said in the book, remember? There's nothing new under the sun. Everything that has happened before is going to happen again. And everybody is going to die. The word of God for the people of God. Thanks be unto God. Yay! Yep. All right. Time and place for everything, and we're all going to die. That's chapter 3. Chapter 4. So I returned and considered all the oppressions that are done under the sun, and behold the tears of such as were oppressed, and they had no comforter. And on the side of their oppressors there was power, but they had no comforter. Wherefore I praised the dead, which are already dead, more than the living, which are yet alive. Yea, better is he than both they which hath not yet been, who hath not seen the evil work that is done under the sun. Again, I considered all travail, and every right work, that for this a man is envied of his neighbor. This is also vanity and vexation of spirit. The fool foldeth his hands together, and eateth his own flesh. Better is an handful with quietness than both the hands full with travail and vexation of spirit. Then I returned and saw vanity under the sun. There is one alone, and there is not a second. Yea, he hath neither child nor brother, yet there is no end of all his labor. Neither is his eye satisfied with riches, neither saith he, for whom do I labor and bereave my soul of good? This is also vanity, yea, it is a sore travail. Two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he hath not another to help him up. Again, if two lie together, then they have heat. But how can one be warm alone? And if one prevail against him, two shall withstand him, and a threefold cord is not quickly broken. Better is a poor and a wise child than an old and foolish king, who will no more be admonished. For out of prison he cometh to reign, whereas also he that is born in his kingdom becometh poor. I considered all the living which walk under the sun, with the second child that shall stand up in his stead. There is no end of all the people, even of all that have been before them. They also that come after shall not rejoice in him. Surely this also is vanity and vexation of spirit. Yep, the dead are luckier than their neighbors. Interesting bit of philosophy from a book that just got done saying everybody's going to die eventually, and you got to hand down your shit to people who didn't work for it because you can't take it with you, buddy. Now all of a sudden, I mean, there was kind of a hard turn of philosophy there as we rolled into the next chapter, and it didn't. It doesn't really have the same rhythm. It doesn't have the same flow as the one before it. And I mean, because the first three chapters were kind of lyrical, kind of lilting. They had a nice poetical vibe to them. You get into chapter 4, and it's shades of Proverbs, y'all. Just a whole bunch of maxims strung together. Not a big fan. Yeah, this guy has had some hard times. Yeah, if he's proclaiming that the dead have it better than we the living, yeah, that's somebody who's seen some shit. And then we get into the same stuff that we expect in the wisdom literature. It's better to be poor and wise than foolish and rich, and it meanders on down that little bunny trail for a while. And concludes that it's all vanity and vexation of spirit. Just it all. Just the is of it all. And some some like weird sort of stuff where it's hard to tell if it's a proverb or if it's an idiom. We may have to do comparative translation here on verse 15. I considered all the living which walk under the sun, with the second child that shall stand up in his stead. I mean, that reads like coded language to me. That seems like it should mean something. Ecclesiastes 4:15. Let's see. New Revised Standard. Ecclesiastes 4:15. I saw all the living who, moving about under the sun, follow that youth who replaced the king. And footnotes that say that's a liberty of translation, because the literal translation of the Hebrew that's rendered here, that is literally the second. So the second youth, child, young, who replaced, Hebrew literally, him. It means, so, y'all having a lot of fun in the chat today. I'm not entirely sure how that. All right, we're moving right along. 4:15. Okay, that was the NRSV. I'll check the NIV. Nope, not Proverbs. We're done with Proverbs. Ecclesiastes 5:4-15. I saw that all who lived and walked under the sun followed the youth, the king's successor. All right. The International Children's Bible, just for good measure. And yes, it's all of it. Let's see. Esther, Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Isaiah. Whoops, too far. Ecclesiastes is short. Four 15. I watched some of the people who live on earth follow him. They made him their king. Well, translation is an art and not a science. You have to read the King James Version for the full-blown power of the Lord to flow properly. Amen. King James only, baby. Yeah, this book is not, I know, this book is not kid-friendly, but somebody back in the 90s thought that this would be a good idea. Perfect for kids, 7 to 12. 7 to 12. And yes, the Song of Solomon is in here. We may have to do a little mini-series here on the channel, just finding some really atrocious shit and seeing how it's translated for kids ages 7 to 12. Dr. James Dobson's Focus on the Family magazine calls it a trustworthy translation for children. It gets weird up in here sometimes, y'all. Yeah, exactly, Lavender Lady. Not the same sense at all. It's very strange. Very, very, very strange. The second child that shall stand up in his stead. How much you want to bet there's some kind of wacky YouTube apologist out there called Second Child? Probably hangs around in Smoky Saints group chats. All right, moving right along. It gets weird, says Microraptor. That's why we're here. Hey, Hopswatch. Good to see you. Ox says, when you do the kids version, remember to dress as Mr. Rogers. This is about as Rogersy as I get. This right here. I've only got the one cardigan. Thank you very much indeed. Or Barney the Dino. No. No, I'm not going to wear a purple dinosaur suit. Not even for you. Chapter 5? We got time for chapter 5, I think. Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of God, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with thy mouth, and let not thine heart be hasty to utter anything before God, for God is in heaven, and thou upon earth. Therefore let thy words be few. For a dream cometh through the multitude of business, and a fool's voice is known by multitude of words. When thou vowest a vow unto God, defer not to pay it, for he hath no pleasure in fools. Pay that which thou hast vowed. Better is it that thou shouldest not vow, than that thou shouldest vow and not pay. Suffer not thy mouth to cause thy flesh to sin. Neither say thou before the angel that it was an error, wherefore should God be angry at thy voice, and destroy the work of thine hands. For in the multitude of dreams and many words there are also divers vanities, but fear thou God. If thou seest the oppression of the poor, and violent perverting of judgment and justice in a province, marvel not at the matter, for he that is higher than the highest regardeth, and there be higher than they. Moreover, the profit of the earth is for all. The king himself is served by the field. He that loveth silver shall not be satisfied with silver, nor he that loveth abundance with increase. This also is vanity. When goods increase, they are increased that eat them. And what good is there to the owners thereof, saving the beholding of them with their eyes? The sleep of a laboring man is sweet, whether he eat little or much, but the abundance of the rich will not suffer him to sleep. There is a sore evil which I have seen under the sun, namely, riches kept for the owners thereof to their hurt. But those riches perish by evil travail, and he begetteth a son, and there is nothing in his hand. As he came forth of his mother's womb, naked shall he return as he came, and take nothing of his labor, which he may carry away in his hand. And this also is a sore evil, that in all points as he came, so shall he go. And what profit hath he that hath labored for the wind? All his days also he eateth in darkness, and he hath much sorrow and wrath with his sickness. Behold, that which I have seen, it is good and comely for one to eat and to drink, and to enjoy the good of all his labor that he taketh under the sun all the days of his life, which God giveth him, for it is his portion. Every man also, to whom God hath given riches and wealth, and hath given him power to eat thereof, and to take his portion, and to rejoice in his labor, this is the gift of God. For he shall not much remember the days of his life, because God answereth him in the joy of his heart. And there's chapter 5. Hey, Angie, good to see you. Titan Uranus, an old friend of the channel. Hey, how are you doing, my friend? Let's see. So, I mean, it's just more of this bloom where you're planted stuff, isn't it? You know? And enjoy your work, work hard, don't covet. Because remember, no matter how much you get, you ain't never going to be satisfied with how much you get. Because you're always going to want more. Vanity and a vexation of spirit. Microraptor, I was thinking exactly the same thing when we hit that verse. A fool's voice is known by multitude of words. Said in the middle of a rampage of repetition about how it's better to be dead than alive and how everybody's going to die in the end and everything in the world is vanity and vexation of spirit. Amiganut says, thought a translation was to faithfully and accurately read/hear something in one language and write it down in another. Something smells rotten in that kid's Bible statement. Just an observation. Ain't wrong. Yeah, and again, it's just, you know, more of the better to be poor and wise and content with your contentment. He does kind of go on a bit at the start about how if you promise God something, you damn well better do it. Especially if you're promising God to bring something and donate it to the temple for the priests to eat and luxuriate in. That may not be the words, but that's the music. Kind of curious. I know I tend to go off on these comparative translation moments at the strangest times, but I can't help but wonder, damn it, where did it go? Vow. Better is it that thou shouldest not vow. Verse 6. Suffer not thy mouth to cause thy flesh to sin. Verse 6. We just got to check in on that. In, shall we say, the Kitty Bible. I got to get a bookmark for this shit. Oh, there's one. It's a proof of purchase for something from Micro Machines, and it's stuck in the middle of Matthew 5 for no apparent reason. All right, let's see here. Oh, shit, there's illustrations. I forgot there's illustrations. We definitely got to do something about this. All right. Chapter 5, verse 5. It is better not to promise anything than to promise something and not do it. So don't let your words cause you to sin. Translation. I mean, I've done a little amateur translating in my time, into and out of a couple of strangely chosen languages, especially back in college. But that's just International Children's Bible seems like a bit of a stretch to me. I'm just saying. Yeah. No matter what God gets the credit, we get the blame, says JWS. All right, let's see. 5, verse 6. Let not your mouth lead you into sin. Who the fuck is Koheleth? Sorry, I've got a footnote here that says, chapter 5, verses 1 through 7, Koheleth deprecates enthusiastic but ignorant piety. The reflective man will maintain his detachment, but will pay such vows as he makes. Oh, the author. The author's pen name. Okay, and these the study notes are just quoted just for the sake of making sure that my copyright version and ass is covered. Come from the Oxford Annotated Bible, the Revised Standard Version, copyright 1962, Oxford University Press, New York. Covered. Good. Yeah, this is... Yeah, not quite it. I don't know, y'all. It's just... It's a poetical incarnation of Proverbs. So it's pretty. I won't deny that. I mean, parts of it more so than others, and the less Proverbs-like-y parts are the ones that I prefer, because we spent so damn long in Proverbs, and I found it tedious, as y'all may recall. But it's, I mean, I'm not against Ecclesiastes so far, other than that it's a bit of a Debbie Downer. We're all gonna die. Our children will inherit that for which they did not work. It's pretty though. It's some nice. It's got a nice flow to it. Not any smiting so far, which means I'm a little disappointed. But I don't know. You can't get what you want all the time. I think we're going to call it there. We've been going almost an hour, and the next chapter, I glanced over, the next chapter is a little on the long side, at least by the standards of Ecclesiastes, which little short chapters. I'm kind of digging it. It's a little short book with little short chapters. Probably won't last us out the week, honestly, although it might do. Lavender Lady asks, would I rather have Ecclesiastes or Revelation? You know, my memories of Revelation are largely just about the monsters. Read out of this very volume right here, which I've, yeah, no, it's only got real names on the inside, so I got to be careful with the flyleaf. I don't want to dox myself. But, yeah. Would I rather? That's a good question. Would I rather do Revelation or Ecclesiastes? So far, I kind of like Ecclesiastes. I mean, really, there's not a lot for me to object to in it, you know, other than the whole owning people as property thing that we kind of glanced over. I didn't let myself get pulled up short by that when he was listing all of the things that he had owned that made him such a wealthy man and didn't end up making him happy after all. And among them were men servants and maid servants and men singers and women singers and children born, servants born into his house. So, you know, there's always something horrible and misanthropic in this outdated... I've been doing this bit for so long, and I can never remember the exact... I can never get it to just trippingly off the tip of my tongue until I actually look at it. The big book of war crimes and outdated regulations. Utter madness and abuse! Microraptor asks, if you need to work for everything... isn't giving to the poor a sin, as the poor then hasn't worked for it? Well, and remember, they're poor because that's what God has decided to hand them, at least according to Ecclesiastes. It is a bit of a philosophy jump from Proverbs. In Proverbs, it was all about how you know, it was all about behavior. You know, don't dig a pit or you'll fall in it. Don't use counterfeit weights or bad measures. You know, and that's, my God, how many times did we do the just weights or a love of the Lord, but a base measure is an abomination unto him? How many fucking times did we go over that? But this one is more resigned. It's less maxims about how to live, and more sort of a, here's what it's like to live. From somebody who has every luxury to luxuriate in, apparently. I can't tell why this was included either. I know that's been my complaint about a lot of the sections in this anthology. Where are Greenberg and Ziamovich when you need them, right? But I mean, it's, you know, it's pretty enough. I don't know what y'all, I don't know. I'm starting to wonder if as much effort and thought and negotiation went into anthologizing this book as I've been giving them credit for. The big book of insanity and bigotry and ignorance. Pow! Pow! Boom! All right. Well, we have run over the hour because y'all are fun, and I always enjoy hanging out with y'all, and I appreciate it. Kind of like Vonnegut, this Ecclesiastes, says Lavender Lady, and Lavender Lady is not wrong. All right. Well, we're going to roll out of here. Thank y'all all so much for joining me here today. Spread the word around, if you would. If you got folks out there you think might appreciate or hate watch the channel. We're trying to get to 250 subscribers by the end of next month so that I can eat Jesus live on stream and compare the gluten-having to the gluten-free body of Christ. We may actually do a couple of multiple taste tests and figure out if they taste any different after they've been internet blessed by an ordained minister. Junk shop going to hell, y'all. To hell. All right. Take care. Be safe. And stand against hate. And we'll see y'all again soon. Bye now.